Okay, hello and welcome to another Let's Play brought to you by Podcast17 and Planet Phillip. Today we're going to be playing Questionable Ethics, and I think we're going to do it in one go, or we're going to attempt to do it in one go. Questionable Ethics is sort of like the go-between the abandoned facility, which is what we just did in residue processing, and the Lambda complex. And in Questionable Ethics you'll see both the slaughter of scientists and the slaughter of Zen creatures, which is why it's called Questionable Ethics, in sort of an experimental test lab. So you see right off the bat, when we get up here, lots of hound eyes. Lots of hound eyes. And they all have escaped their cages, which more or less suggests that immediately that the scientists have been collecting Zen specimens for study. And we know that they have because we know that they've been studying portal technology to get to Zen, and they must have been bringing creatures back. For example, the Ichthyosaur earlier on in the chapters, they basically said that that it showed up in the Great Barrier Sea or whatever, even before the Resonance Cascade. So we know that the scientists have been bringing creatures back and doing experiments on them, and questionable ethics sort of proves that. There's two ways to get out of this area. The first way is to just jump over it. You can jump over it right here. Or you can just shoot this enough times, sort of overload it, and the gate slips open. You'll see that there are lots and lots and lots of health stations in Questionable Ethics, because there are quite a lot of enemies, which we'll find out very shortly, but we don't have a lot of ammo. Or we don't have a lot of weaponry either, so we're forced to fight these enemies with either the pistol, which is my personal favorite anyway, the revolver, or if you still have some satchels, or your crowbar. Later on we'll get an MP5, but it won't help us that much in the grand scheme of things, because we'll have so low ammo. Okay, so I want to point something out. If you listen closely, let's see if we can hear it. No? Trying to get him. Anyway, there's an alien grunt in here, and you could hear him earlier, which sort of signifies the craziness of this room. This room is extremely, extremely haunting, even with the music that's playing in the background. Oh, there it is. He just did his little grunt. And we're about to experience a new monster of the Half-Life series. The alien grunt. Okay, so the alien grunt, his full name is the Xenotherium Mimerex, and like I said, he's commonly known as the alien grunt. He's a smart AI. Just like the alien slaves, just like the human grunts, smart AIs will run to cover, avoid grenades, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. They're very, very tough, and the reason they're so tough is that you can't really land a headshot on them. You can, if you're quick enough, but they got this armor plating around them which reflects bullets just like the Garg sort of does. So you're almost forced to shoot them in the stomach, which does significantly less damage to them. They have two attacks. They have the Hive Hand, or the Hornet Gun, depending on what you want to call it. The Hornet Gun shoots hornets or thornets, depending on what you want to call them, and they're like heat-seeking or like biological-seeking little hornets that will infest, and it's an infinite weapon, and it'll slowly charge over time. We'll get a Hornet Gun later on in the game, so we'll talk more about it then, but just keep in mind that the alien grunts do have Hornet Guns. They also have a melee attack, which will hit you with both their hands or with their the third middle hand, or sort of come down on you with both hands together. Like I said, they're smart AI. They can go down pretty quickly on easy mode, which you'll see in a second. What else can I talk about this? There's not much else I can say about the alien grunt. No, that's it. So this is our first. So here he is. He's sort of shooting me, and you can see his hornet attack. And then if we get up close, he'll sort of do his attack. So we'll just dispose of him. There's two ways we could have dealt with that situation. Get really close, and he would have broken the glass like he did earlier, or break this glass, which will open up the holding, and then eventually open this door. So we're basically forced to fight the alien grunt. We just can't leave him in there. And that again shows, questionable ethics. Them keeping these alien grunts in slave pens, almost. Okay, so here's another test lab of questionable ethics. We got a whole bunch of head crabs in here, which are very angry towards me. And a button. Mysterious button. So the scientists of Black Mesa are clearly experimenting with sort of high energy weapons, which we will see in a little bit. And that's our first grunt since since apprehension. So we finally got our MP5 left. If you broke a lot of boxes, you'll have a lot of AR2, which I have 4. You'll have some ammo, which you share with the Glock, and you get some more health here. So even there's a health kit here. There's a health kit here. There's a lot of health kits in this level.
Hey, it's no good up there. It's all sealed off. The only way out would be to find someone with scanner access who can open the front door. I'm pretty sure there's a few scientists hiding somewhere in the labs. Maybe with both of us looking, we can track them down and get them to let us out.
Okay, so again, like I said, you don't have a lot of weapons in questionable ethics, so they give you this Barney, who you can basically bring around the entire level, the entire chapter with you, if you keep him alive. So I like to always keep it as a challenge to try to keep the Barney alive as I go through. Might be a little bit hard because I'll be explaining things, but we'll see. Oh, that was good. Sometimes, though, if you you notice that one grunt was retreating, he'll run all the way through the whole level, and this Barney will chase him down. So you got to be careful about that. So we just killed 4 grunts there, and one of them has a shotgun, which we'll be able to grab in a second. This is sort of the lobby of questionable ethics. I'm not sure what this facility is called. This is their logo. I'm sure there is a name for it. I just can't remember it offhand. Some HEV, which you'll most likely need after residue processing. Now we'll be returning to this area because, as you can see, this door is locked, and this door is the way out. This is the exit to surface tension. So we're sort of forced to go this way. Another locked door, which we'll piggyback to in a second. Okay, so this area is a little bit tricky with the Barney. We got a whole bunch of head crabs behind there, and the Barney loves opening the gate for whatever reason. So we're basically forced to protect his ass. More over here. Alright. So they didn't really come out, but sometimes that can be quite difficult. Okay, so we got the crossbow back. That's another one of our weapons that we've previously had. And now we're introduced to what's called snarks. Let me open up my snark page. So snarks are also known as the squeak grenade, but I don't know a lot of people who call them squeak grenades.
Okay, we might live longer if we work together.
I'm just going to leave this Barney here for a second so that I can play around with the snarks in peace, so that it doesn't kill the Barney. So like I said, they're called squeak grenades. They're found in either snark mines, which we'll see much later on in the game, or in the nest that we just picked up and to get as weapons. When you pick up a nest, you get 5 snarks. You can hold 15 in total. Okay, so these creatures are sort of like they are grenades, but you can consider them as almost homing grenades. I'll throw one so you can see. They'll run around like that on the ground and sort of make sounds. They'll stay alive for 20 seconds, and they'll hunt down the closest enemy, and that also includes you. As you can see, there's no enemies really in this lobby area. And then after 20 seconds, yeah, there you go. They just blow up. They blow up into a little goo, and their explosion actually hurts you as well. Their biting is quite immense. Actually, we'll sort of show one here. Okay, see, he's not hostile towards me. And they're hard to shoot once they've locked onto you. Because they're sort of flying all over the map, more or less. Then they blow up and they do some more additional damage. Their tactics the tactics against them, sorry, the best way to dispose of them is with a crowbar. But again, if you kill them with a crowbar, then they will blow up in your face. And other than that, there's not much to say about the Snark. You use them a lot in Half-Life 1. They're very fun enemies. You use them a lot in the Zen areas and much later on after Surface Tension and after Lambda Core. But they're a cool enemy. They're one of my favorites. So we can bring this Barney back. If you didn't have the Barney, you can always hit this button, but I don't like doing it with him around because that has the possibility of killing him. But it's just like the other room, with this energy beam sort of exploding everything in the area. Dispose of those guys real quick. We'll just head back over here for a second so you can see where this links up. So here we are back in the second door that was locked from the lobby. Alright, so this is a really cool room. This is a very iconic room in Half-Life. Get some of this HEV. You'll see here that there's these containers, these biohazard infectious waste containers, and these trip mines, which are hooked up to these data banks or these computers or whatnot. Our goal is to get through this door, but the only way to do that, it seems, is to blow up these, which will probably blow up the computers. I'm going to grab some trip mines from up here. We'll have this Barney wait up here. It's usually the safest spot if you want to keep him in the action. Start the party. And you'll see now that these grunts are sort of coming up from the chambers. We got the Barney down there, and now we have human grunts who have broken or breached the wall. So it's cool to watch it sort of all play out from up here, the observation area. I'm just worried about my Barney. I like watching them all fight. Looks like the human grunts won. And we can just finish it up. We lost a lot of health there, but only because I wanted to sort of watch the battle.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Pick up all their weapons.
I'll stay here and guard this area.
Clear up that little area.
Roger that. Let's run like hell.
Alright, so you're immediately hearing this humming. And this is sort of the hub of the questionable ethics area. This door is locked, and we see the surgical tool just sort of spinning there. Behind the surgical tools, there is a scientist here, a scientist behind him, and a scientist behind this wall here. Those are the scientists we need to eventually bring back to let us out to the surface tension area. But we'll see them in a little bit. I like to keep the Barney away from this mess.
Okay, I'll cover you.
Pull him back a little bit, because I know it's coming out. So basically, behind these boxes was a trip mine, and as soon as you break the boxes, the trip mine triggers and blows up. You don't die from it, but I'm more worried about the Barney.
Roger that. Let's run like hell.
And here's some areas of head crabs in these glass windows. He'll eventually break out like that, and the Barney's going to come in here and try to kill them all off. Some more up here. And so down here, this door links back up with the lobby as well, which we'll be taking this path once we free those scientists. I love questionable ethics. I mean, just look at the amount of stuff that's going on in this room. We got all the animated textures, we got some great brushwork, we had the enemies, a lot of scripted sequences, all the sounds going on. Like, there's so much going on, so dense in one room, but it just all sort of works together. It's a great chapter. Great feeling, too.
Okay, I'll wait here and help anyone else.
We'll let these bull squids fight these human grunts. The bull squids usually win. But the problem is with bull squids is that they often attack each other, like these two. One more guy. Okay. Okay, so this is the questionable ethics puzzle. It's quite obvious what you need to do, even though it's not explained to you. You're presented with a lot of rooms that look like this, with these laser emitters. And you hit the button for the laser emitter, and it reflects off these mirrors. You can sort of... Oh, he just ran through that. And you can sort of trace their path. So we'll trace this one, and we'll see that it... There's Grunt over there. We'll see that it enters this little emitter box, and in here we have a giant laser machine. So the idea is we have to beam all these lasers in this laser machine so that we can fire this off. There's 4 in total. We've already got 1. So. Oh, and here's some uranium, depleted uranium, which I'll explain what that's for in a little bit. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing with ammo. I love when Valve does that. Where'd my Barney go? Oh, he's hanging out there. That's fine. Even the destructible environments, like the Hound Eyes charging and these being able to be destroyed like that, Valve's just sort of thinking ahead, anticipating the moves. Alright, so we got 3 of the lasers activated. And you'll see here, with at least 2, we got 1 beam coming into the laser machine. We still need a second beam.
What is this thing? Some kind of weapon?
Put that down. It's a prototype.
Man, I'm using it.
It's much too unpredictable. Don't let it overcharge.
Well, what do you mean, over?
One of the best sequences of Half-Life right there. And it introduces you to a new weapon called the Tau Cannon, which is this guy. Immediately, you understand 2 things about the Tau Cannon. It fires an electrical beam, which we saw when it shot through the wall and hit the exploding boxes. And secondly, that you can overcharge it. So you learn a lot even before firing the Tau Cannon, which is like an amazing concept. So this is the Tau Cannon. I'll fire it off once. That's what it looks like. It shoots a high particle beam of depleted uranium. It can shoot through walls. I don't know if it can actually shoot through this one. I think that was just scripted. No, it can't shoot through this one, but it can shoot through walls. It can reflect off walls. There we go. You can just reflect it like that. And you can charge it. So that was just the left mouse button. The right mouse button, you charge it, and it shoots a high energy beam of depleted uranium.
See you later.
And you'll see that there's sort of a knockback to the whole thing, which coins the term gauze jumping in Half-Life 1, which, if you ever watch a speed run of Half-Life 1, after unquestionable ethics, it's basically just a series of gauze jumping. That's all it is. Because you can really get into areas you're not supposed to just by, I don't know why it didn't work there. Just by gauze jumping. Which allows you to get some velocity by charging the Tau Cannon. And getting some air. I don't know why I can't do it right now. Anyway, no big deal. But this is the Tau Cannon. What else can I say about it? It's also called the, like I said, the Giles gun, because the title in the models is called Giles gun, but the full name is the Tau Cannon. It's also known as the XVL 1456. I don't know where they got that name. Maybe it's printed somewhere on the gun. Anyway, we're going to be picking it up a lot later in Lambda Complex as well. What else can I talk about this? not too much other than gauss jumping, which is very important. The reflections. There's a cool little thing. When you charge it, you can see the little thingy on the bottom there spinning clockwise. You can actually make it go counterclockwise if you trip it out in some water. You can swim in some water and then dunk yourself back in while charging this, and it'll start spinning counterclockwise. Just a cool little bug or glitch or whatever. Alrighty, so we got the laser all powered up and ready to go.
Okay, I'll secure this here.
So we'll shoot her off and see what happens. So the last shield comes down, the laser fires. And nothing happens. This is actually quite a difficult puzzle if you're not really sure what to do. There's a hint up here. It says "Do not obstruct laser shield." So the idea is you have to push this box up against the floor area there. So when the blast shield comes down, it's obstructed by the box. The laser fires, and it blows a hole in the wall, just like that. There we go. So now we're given a way out. So say goodbye to Barney because we're not going to be seeing him anymore. Make this jump here. If you remember, that's where the boxes were with the trip mine that exploded. Ow. No, I know. Alright, fair enough.
A scientist. Thank God. Get us out of here before those military drones figure out where we're hiding. We all have Reginald's scanner access. Escort us to the lobby, and we can get out of the lab. You'll have to shut down the surgical unit first. Peters switched it on, but I'm afraid he never made it back.
Damn you, Peter. Alright. Load up on some health. So our idea here is we have to, just a little puzzle. We have to avoid these spinny blades. Shut it down so we can get the scientists out of here. Not too difficult. Just a jumping puzzle. And then, like anything, like the timed crusher plates, we have to turn it off just at the right moment so the scientists can make their way through. We'll open the gate here. I like taking this one.
Let's go.
You can take all of them if you really want to, but we don't need to. And again, if you remember where to go, it's not very far of a walk. There is an enemy through here, I think. Come on, open the thing.
Well, I'll let you out, but I'm warning you, it's hell out there. It's completely under military control. You'll have to sneak and fight your way from one end to the other, and I don't expect you'll meet many of our peers along the way. But if you do survive and somehow make it across the base, you'll end up at the Lambda complex, where the rest of the science team has taken shelter. I wouldn't venture there myself, but I will let them know that you are coming.
Alright, cool. So, we were just let out, sort of given more information about what's coming up next. We have to go through the surface area, which is called surface tension, and then we can finally make our way to the Lambda complex, which is our overall goal right now. And here we are, back outside, fresh air. Kill that guy off. Again, more questionable ethics. Seems the HECU have set up turrets on the ceiling of the test lab, which still I don't think has a name. But again, like I said, there's questionable ethics here, questionable ethics about the Zen creatures, just so many meetings in Valve's titles. Blow that up. And here we are, surface tension. So we're going to stop this Let's Play here. I'm glad we were able to put in unquestionable ethics, or questionable ethics in in one episode. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we're gonna have fun with the Tau cannon in the next episode. See ya.